system. Once they ask questions or perform these tasks, it becomes really cool and pretty interesting to them. Uh, Again, what all are we focusing on? We are focusing on listening, speaking, reading, writing, grammar, and vocabulary. Vocabulary check. If you ask the teacher what do they really struggle with, writing and vocabulary are the two areas which they really struggle a lot with. So we can always go ahead and start by showing them vocabulary and show them how each and every vocabulary question in our system focuses on uh, A, the meaning of the word, B, the synonyms, C, antonyms, D, the vocabulary in context, basically how a word can have multiple meanings based on the sentence in which it has been used. So these are the four features that we are showing for vocabulary. Then we actually bring them to this page and we explain the difference between practicing and studying a concept. Practice is more generic in nature, wherein children are not bound by what to learn and when to learn. There's like a pool of resources and they can choose whatever they wish to learn, and there's the search option that has been activated, and children can go ahead and they can search specific resources. Study, on the other hand, is something that is more guided in nature, because there are certain standards we are looking at for learning something new. We are looking at CEFR levels and we are looking at boards and grade for a specific concept. So when I'm talking about boards and grades, um this is the list. For now, we have only activated CBSE, but soon we are going to activate remaining as well. And then based on grade, everything is here. And here are the standards. So standards are your CEFR standard we are talking about. Each, what does it actually mean, has been explained. Like for instance, A1 is just the beginner, and eventually a child reaches mastery at C2. So they can go ahead and they can solve questions from this particular perspective, or they can go ahead and they can practice a question randomly. So let's look at this one. Uh, I believe most of you have already seen this, right? Like the word was actor, so I have to guess the meaning of the word first. We show them the report, we show them the result, that this is the first thing, this is a scorecard that children can see what they have done. Here we will talk about an important feature, that how we do not give them the actual answers. Actual answers are available only for CBT files. For any learning tool, we do not provide an actual answer, mainly because we want children to engage like with the content and learn certain things by constantly and continuously practicing. Is that fine? So that's why learning tools do not have answers. At least we do not display them. Okay, once we are done here, uh, we can actually take them to the fourth tile, which is the report. For each for each learning tool, we can have a report that is for the teacher, which is their own report, because whichever account logs in, they can see their own report. And for teachers, we have made student report accessible as well, because, well, that's exactly what you do. So here we come, you select the board, you select the class, you select the section, and you select the student name. Now, whatever the student's name is and whatever they have done so far will be shown here. Here, the first thing that you can see is number of attempts that were made, and then you can go ahead and you can see the proficiency. Again, this has been a space where teachers have definitely not given me a positive response. They are like, this is too much. What do we do with all of this? So you can just tell them you want to stop at the scorecard, be my guest, and stop there. But if you are a teacher that's interested in understanding where exactly your student is in the current moment, you can go ahead and you can check their reports from here. So, for instance, Mr. Benjamin has done nothing here, but the teacher herself himself must have. I mean, this is our demo account, right? So we have reports for um, ourselves, but for students, yeah, this is how teachers can go in and they can check what the student is doing for that specific learning tool. Okay, so far, whatever we have seen, guys, we have seen it for a specific task, whether it is a CBT or it is a learning tool. And this is what it will look like. It will always give you a progress chart, a progress line, basically. And then you also have an average or their proficiency percentages. That's something we are calculating. Number of attempts for each and every question at the said level. Apart from this, we have cumulative reports. Now, when we are talking about cumulative reports, we are talking about cumulative reports both for the entire course plan, for the entire coursework, and for this particular course, like for learning tools as well. They are shown separately mainly because learning tools we have enabled independent access. But whenever I'm giving learning tools as an exercise or as a task, that report will become part of the session itself. That report won't be shown here. Is this point clear? This is something important that we all need to remember, that the moment an exercise is created out of learning tools, whether as an assignment, as an assessment, or as a classroom activity, the report will be generated in the course plan and not in the learning tools section. Now, here we have cumulative reports of everything that is being done with learning tools. There are three things that we can see. We can see our own reports, we can see each student's report, and we can see the entire course report. So the course report here basically refers to everything that was taken from learning tools and done in the classroom, and it's the entire class's performance. That's what we are looking at. So So for instance, here you can see that learning tools can be used in all of these programs and all of these courses. So you choose a name and then you can see that this is the whole class's performance for the course. This is a new feature that we have added. That's what this particular report means. That whatever learning tool resources were used in your course plan now can be accessed from here. So far, we did not have this option. Is this clear? No
A little
responses.
confused, ma'am. A little confused.
Okay, so what we are looking at is a cumulative report card. Okay. Uh, okay, let me take you back. There is one report wherein you see everything you have done on the software. Yeah, Sarah, yes.
Sorry, Anjali. I'll just ask my question before I forget it. I just wanted to understand now that we are going to be giving the lab till grade 10, right?
Okay,
If it,
yeah.
yeah, if the your learning tools can be used at grade 10 or grade 11 and 12, and we are assessing them based on the CEFR levels, can a child, like once we say where they stand here, since we have reports, and it is again level based reports, can the child go ahead and attempt the, the IELTS and TOEFL exam?
Okay,
Can
so
like
yeah,
a
no, well,
school
that's a
assure
valid.
parents can school assure parents that now, okay, based on the levels that they achieve, now they are prepared and they are of that level to write their exams?
Right. So what we are going to do, we have not done that yet, and that is something we'll do before the next year, as in, like the next year starts. Uh, we are going to add more learning objectives that will govern whether a child is ready for IELTS and TOEFL or not. So that feature is not there yet. But if, like, for instance, that there is this whole, projection of CEFR, since CEFR has been mentioned, and if a school wants to go ahead and compare CEFR levels to IELTS bands, then sure they can go ahead and they can do that. But we will have this particular feature in our program soon. It is not there yet.
Okay,
We
but
show.
we can assure schools that, or should we not? Should we
Yes,
like
yes,
we
yes.
could
We
we
can,
could?
we definitely can, and we can directly tell them that anyway, if a child gains proficiency at a said level, it
Mhm.
will correspond to a certain IELTS band and certain TOEFL score as well, because mostly all of these assessments are following the similar framework.
Okay, and we'll be giving them something like that, some kind of criteria sheet or something like a
Yeah,
rubric.
yeah, we are actually working on that, but I
Okay,
won't again commit a timeline. We are
okay,
figuring that out, and I mean, we have successfully reached somewhere, but yeah,
okay.
it may take some time.
Okay, my next question is regarding the view course report. Now that like you said, any kind of assessments given, the entire report will be seen under the course report, right?
Yes, yes,
So, sorry, the session report. So now when we have the course report and the number of, I think the number of assessments gets tracked there on LMS,
yeah, yeah.
does the principal or the coordinators in charge get to see how much of work done on the lab as well, since we have
Yes,
a course report given in terms of syllabus
yes,
completion?
yes, yes, exactly. You just need to, I mean, here you click and you just choose the course that wherever, I mean, where all it has been used. You click on one, and therein it will directly generate a report that how much was done, how many exercises were created. So for instance, pre-created exercises are going to be 18, both for practical English lab program and for my lab program. Both of these programs will have 18 pre-created, 18 for my lab and 36 for the other book, for practical English book. So since these are pre-created, it will always be there. But there are going to be, I mean, teachers can go ahead and they can create assignments on their own as well. They can create assessments from here as well. So whatever they are creating, all of that will be presented here for that specific course plan.
So the principal has to come to the tools and only get this report, or will she get it under her reports?
No, no, this will be visible from tools only.
Only from tools. So even coordinator has to come to the learning tools and then check from here grade wise,
Yeah.
is it?
Yeah. So now what we have basically two ways of looking at the same report. One is if you directly want to see how children are engaging with learning tools. This is done especially for schools that are only going to buy our software and they're not really interested in getting the book. So even if a school is only getting learning tools, they still have the option of creating assignments and assessments out of learning tools only, and hence this feature has been added.
Okay. And one more question that arises here. Now that we've given them a manual, teacher manual onto how to conduct it. So for the software alone, where they don't take any MyLab books, the manual is given there as well. How
No, it
to
is not.
manual is not given.
No, no. For lab part only, there is no manual. But in terms of how to conduct sessions, how to create assignments, and all that stuff, there are going to be training videos. We are working on training videos.
Thanks, Ajli.
Yeah, no worries. Okay, so I believe this part is clear. What is the course thing? Yeah, Vivek, yes.
Yeah, hi Anjali. Anjali, one question: Are we are planning to provide any certificate once the student has completed like A1, A2, B1, B2, because that will help the retention also for the sales team. So any plan of that?
No, we are not providing any certificate, mainly because we do not certify. I mean, we cannot provide certification for CEFR. That is done
Mm-hmm.
by that body. We can't do that.
Okay. Okay. internally, that anything that we can do?
Yes. So what we are basically doing, we are creating, we are going to create these tests and we are going to create the entire program in a fashion where we'll showcase students level and, like there will be like a nice pop-up that you are at this
That
particular
will help the
level.
sales team. Yeah, yeah.
Yes, yes.
Fair point. Yeah, thank
Uh,
you.
yeah. Okay. So that's Sarah, is there more question? I mean, no, this is not Sarah. Nitin. Yes.
Yeah, hi Anjali, good morning.
Hi.
Anjali, we are used, so basically few of the schools we have given the trial basis of English language lab setup
Mhm.
for 2 months. If the local ATs can, along with the BD, they can actually work on the report part. So they have the access of all the reports. So they have this progression report shared with the principal that will help us to close the deals. So if the local ATs get involved into all the cases, wherever we have given this trial, that will help us to close.
Then I think this is something that training team can actually help you better because the whole scheduling and planning is generally taken care of by them. So I think I'm not the correct person who can help you here, but I'll definitely pass on this message to Vikram.
So thanks.
Right. Yeah, I have one more. Yes, Ravi, yes. Uh, Ravi, you're on mute if you're saying something. Ravi, are you saying something? Your hand is raised. Okay. Okay. I believe I'll continue.
I have one question. Continue, ma'am.
Yeah, please, please.
Yeah, and so like here in the cumulative report, when there is a drop down arrow where you have chosen class, right? So
Yeah.
because the teachers will be mapped with their own classes, so they'll be seeing their own classes only, not all the classes for this one.
No, for here, all the classes that school has opted for can be shown.
Okay,
But
so
a
if I
teacher,
am grade one
like,
teacher, I can see any other teacher's cumulative report. That
no,
means
no, 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 no. You, as a
Hmm.
teacher, you will have only access to yours, but as a
Okay,
principal or as a coordinator, you will have access to everything.
okay, thank you.
Yeah, right. Okay, so now comes the other half, the complex half, which is basically understanding each and every skill and the proficiency of students at each and every skill level. So the previous report that we had seen for each and every tool, therein we do not show them how like how many questions. I mean, sorry, learning objectives for each and every question at each and every level of CEFR. But when we show them this particular report, which is actually the cumulative report, here they can go ahead and they can click on the skill they want to understand better. Again, here it becomes very important for us to tell teachers that they can stop at whichever point they are comfortable. But we give an entire, like a detailed study of the skill profile of student. Here they can go ahead and they can check the different concepts that they have attempted so far for a specific skill, how well or how poorly have they been performing for that particular concept. So there are these three terms that we have been using: concepts, concept dimensions, and learning objectives. Based on this model, we have created our reports. Inside a skill, there are a lot of concepts. Inside the concept, there are concept dimensions. And inside concept dimensions, there are unique learning objectives tagged to each and every question. So once a question is solved, it can actually bring you to this most basic level, right? Where you can actually go ahead and you can see the learning objective for that specific question, or like it will generally show you a long list of learning objectives because students are actually going to solve multiple questions. And as I told you, these are unique, so there are going to be multiple learning objectives that we'll show here. Okay, Sarah, yes, that's the question.
Anjali, this you said there are learning objectives within a learning objective, right? There are multiple
No,
ones that
no. They're
for
not
each
learning
question.
objectives. For each question, learning objectives have been tagged to them. But when we
Okay.
are showing results, when we are showing this report here, we are starting with skill. So
Okay.
it actually, oops.
No, what I was asking is like, see, if we have like just given on randomly grade wise, what is the skill progression? Sometimes it becomes easy when we are sitting with coordinators and principals to showcase like how each question progresses. So if that skill sheet or like how we have for English and we have those things, can we get maybe however it is grade wise progression for these learning objectives or for these questions? Is there a
Okay,
document
so
that we can get access to?
there are 36,000 learning objectives.
Okay. Okay. So
Yeah,
it's grade wise going into thousands, is it?
yeah. It's going to reach much more. I am pretty sure we're going to have many more learning objectives in place. So this is something we can't show a school, mainly because
Mhm.
that's the internal framework. So
Okay.
yeah,
And if
but
we can at least get an overall, like, each grade under, say, a number of questions or the number of learning objectives that we address for each grade, or just
no, so
numbers. We don't
then,
want the exact things, just numbers.
uh, okay, this is the data that I can actually provide. But then again, you see, like what we are doing now, like we are creating more content for lab, and especially for learning tools and everything. So what we are doing, we have identified learning objectives that we are teaching, and the number is obviously pretty huge. But for each learning objective, then we are going to create around 15 questions on an average. There are going to be 5 easy questions for a learning objective, 5 medium level questions, and 5 difficult questions. So this will be the new progression. And as I told you, right, like before the new year begins, like the new academic year begins, we're going to have another meeting soon where we'll talk about all the changes that we have brought in our entire framework. So don't worry, all these details definitely will be imparted and will be shared.
Okay, thanks, Anjali.
Yeah, no problem. So this report, let me move on with it. We have all the skills. The first thing that you see is an average score on each and every skill, number of questions attempted on each and every skill, and what the progress for each skill looks like throughout the year or throughout the uh, program, basically. Then for each skill, we can see academic concepts that have been tagged to it. So there are these many concepts, and for each concept, how many questions have been solved. And then inside a certain academic concept, we can go ahead and we can check sub-concepts or learning objectives. Here again, for specific sub-concept, how many questions have been attempted, we can show that as well. And this is the obvious progress thing that the progress report that the students and teachers can see for themselves. So there are 3 layers to it. Skill proficiency. After
Hi,
skill proficiency, there's concept proficiency, and then there's the learning objective proficiency.
excuse me, Anjali.
Yeah, Isha. Yeah.
Yeah, here I can see the sub concepts like nouns, plurals, and common nouns and all those. But
Hmm.
actually, in our lab, language lab, in the learning tools, where are we teaching these?
No, these are the questions that students are solving. So, for
The
instance,
questions.
when students are solving vocabulary, for instance, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
So the word actor is actually a noun.
right.
Can they identify that? Can they identify the use of the word in a sentence? So, for instance, when there was a sentence, my father wants to become an actor, we are using noun in a sentence as an object. So, we
Mm-hmm,
are not, okay, so this is not your rule based teaching. This is called discourse teaching. Any
mm-hmm,
discourse style or discourse based teaching will always bring forth the communicative aspect. We do not establish rules, and but without establishing rules, can you really teach those rules? Yes, you can, by allowing children to practice how to use things.
Okay.
So where exactly or how do you use like, that's just one example. But if you look at our listening questions, when you
Mhm.
start comprehending listening passages and you are able to tell like there are multiple questions based on the listening passages, again we are testing the same thing. So each and every question is marked to such concepts. That's how it works.
There's no direct question, no? Because I've never come across any direct question. Can you find any noun in this one?
Yeah, we are not using the old traditional method of teaching grammatical concepts, or for that matter, any other concept. We are using the application aspect.
Right. Okay.
Fair enough. All right. So, is there
Yes,
anything
Anjali,
else?
I have.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
have. Is there something specifically we are looking at into our lab, or is it something that every lab is commonly using?
Every lab, as in all our competitors as well.
Yes. Yes.
See, I obviously won't comment on the internal framework that they are making use of, but
Okay.
in general, lab is all about application,
Mhm.
right? Because that's what it promotes. It promotes language learning by doing the language. So the moment we talk about application, the fundamentals are established on the same front. And discourse-based learning or communicative English learning, all of these all of them, they work on the same principle of allowing children to learn language in different and multiple contexts. So yes, most of the products that you will see in the market, they are readily making use of this particular methodology of learning and teaching language.
Okay. Thanks, Anjali.
Yeah. All right. So, okay, there is actually one more feature, honestly, but we will work on it in some time, which is the fundamentals and theories that you must have seen. Those fundamentals and theories will actually take students to the rules, just for schools that are interested in teaching rules over actual application of stuff. So now it brings me to analytics, which is the most important thing for the entire course. See, I've shown each and every feature that we are supposed to talk about from my lab book or my, like the standard lab program. But the same features are available for practical English also. I'll talk about it briefly, but there's literally nothing different there. Okay, so when we come to analytics, we are going to English lab. Here we see again three styles, or we have three different views. I like to say, we have one which is the course view, which basically shows entire class's performance. So this is the average class performance. It is downloadable. And then again, you can go ahead and you can understand for each and every skill how how the class is performing. This is an average thing. And this is for the course. This is not only for learning tools. It is learning tools plus course plus everything that the child has done in 36 weeks. What we were looking at earlier showed everything that students